Hello you lovely people, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. It's lovely to have you with me today, and today we're doing colour cubing, and today we started in a different place. This is a piano stool that I keep my threads and bits and pieces for slow stitching. So there's a whole variety of stuff in here. The card for today is this one, number 64. And like the card I did just a couple of days ago, this is another one that I love the colours, but the colours are very close to each other. And learning from the one, last time, it wasn't yesterday, it was 2 days ago, I think it was done. But anyway, learning from that one, I've decided to approach this one slightly different. So let's have a quick look at the colours. You can see straight away we've got 2 shades of charcoal, which proves my point that they use the same name for different things. We've got a cool grey, so in effect that's 3 shades of charcoal, and we've got a black, which is 4 shades of charcoal, and then we've got Bondi blue, supposedly from Bondi Beach, but it's actually for icebergs in this picture. So what I decided, learning from last time, was to try not and do these as separate items. And I went hunting and I found this cool bit of fabric, and I'm just going to quickly see, I should have checked this beforehand, see if it still has the name on it. It does. Here we go. It's by Lewis and Irene, and it's called Bookworm D number A548 if you're looking for it. Threaded with love. Okay. So it just has loads of different images. There's books, there's a puffin, there's a dragonfly, pond life, modern art, gardens, road trips, great train journeys, there's a ladybird. But more to the point, everything's done in shades of charcoal. Look, we've got that one absolutely spot on there. That one's spot on there. There we go, we've got that one there. So we've got all the shades of charcoal in here. And what I thought is, if I can find a bit of blue thread, or maybe several in the 3 shades from in here, then we've maybe got a project on hand. So I'm not going to make you watch me. Well, I've already had a rummage in my slow craft hidey-ho. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a bit of slow stitching. I've got this bit of wool felt that actually has all the colours of the cool grey. Do it that way, Kirsten. All the colours of the cool grey in it. So I thought that would make a nice background. And then I've got this fabulous material. Is I'm going to pick some of these bits I like. I was watching Mary Ellen's video. I love tearing fabric. I was watching Mary Ellen's video, and she said something about some people don't like the sound of tearing fabric. Well, okay. Some people aren't going to have to listen to the sound of tearing fabric, because I'll tear it off camera. Okay, I've decided that I'm going to use these 3, which is a little pile of books by Poetry Books, then Book and Seabird with this cute little puffin, and also the book on pond life, because I decided to go with these ones because it is this iceberg on the back, and I know pond life isn't an iceberg, but I just thought kind of watery theme, go for a watery theme, and poetry watery theme because it's poetic. And anyway, for those of you who aren't familiar with slow stitching, the other thing that we might do is sew on, add some, oh see, that's a nice charcoaly bit. Oh, I've got these ones actually. These would be quite good because they've got, these are, both of these are clay buttons. See, that's not, I've got that would make a nice black contrast. I'm thinking I might do a kind of folio kind of idea, so then I can put tags or something inside it, and that might be a good closure to have on it. although it's going to be very bulky for a journal, so maybe not. I don't know why I'm holding on to this one. I really could do with my, I've got buttons all over the place. I could really do them. See now, I quite like the fact that one's got a little bit of blue in as well, but I like the fact that that's another ovally one. I could do with it being in a bigger box, but I refuse to have yet another container of buttons. And see, I've got dotty ones as well. I really want to stick to that. That's too big, really. And that's going to be, that's quite nice. That's a fabric covered one. So that's quite nice, actually. We might use that. What we could do with some blue. Oh, she says. And a spots a blue button. Not sure where that one came from. Has it got? See, it's got the right blue. Oh, it's a pearl. Come from a shell, so it kind of changes as the light catches it. But it's all a bit too dark blue for that. I've got quite a few that have come from shells actually. See, that one might actually have the right shade of blue in it. That one actually we might use because it's another of these ovally ones. Let's stick to 3 ovally ones. And shall we go? We'll go for that one, that one. I bet I don't have a, now I've decided that, I'm sitting here thinking, but I want a blue ovally one, and I bet I don't have a blue ovally one. I'm sure I haven't got a blue. Oh, there's a blue round one though. Another pottery button. You can see I love it. I love when I find pottery buttons. Oh, that's really nice, but that's flower on it. Doesn't really go. We've got charms here as well. Let's see, I've got that, which is the wrong colour as well. That came. What's this? Ooh, no. Oh, I'm so tempted to tip this out, but if I tip it out, oh dear, it's going to be noisy, and then I've got to get them all back in again, haven't I? Let's tip it over, put my hand on it, hope for the best. I can't see anything overly that's the right colour in there. So I can see one thing, but it's far too big. Let's try the other way. Do we try one of the other? Right. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these back in here. That's the wrong colour. I'm going to pull out one more. There's slightly less in this one, so that might make it easier for the... I know what you're thinking. Why don't you sort them into colours, and then it would be so much easier? Well, as it happens, the really wee ones are sorted out into colours. Shall I have a look in here as well? Oh, see now, that's paper beads I made now, but isn't really the right colour. But you see, these are so full already as well that then you can't move them around. No, I don't want a round one. It's too bulky. Oh, there should be a little fishy in here actually. Well, there's a seashell. But that looks like it's the wrong colour, which tells me that the fishy is going to be the wrong colour as well. I'm going to tip these out into my hand. I'll regret it, but I'm going to do it. There we go. That was the fishy that I knew was in there. Oh no, maybe it's not the wrong. Maybe use the fishy. Won't use the seashell. Maybe use the fishy. See, I knew this was a mistake. Let's get them back in there before we have a disaster. Have a wee look as I'm scooching them back in there. Alright, okay, I think that's... If we've got one of these that's got a lot of the blue on it, I might... see, we've got one that's got quite a bit of blue in it. Is it the right shade of blue? It is. So let's put that one out there as well. I'm not convinced I'm necessarily going to use them. But, so let's put those away. We've got a wee selection there. And we'll see where we go. Now, I'm not going to make you sit there and watch me sewing a slow stitch. You really don't want to be doing that. Oh, do you? But I've just realised that the other thing I've got here is this thread, which actually is another variegated one, but actually I think that's what I need to kind of, I use that for bookbinding. Right, so what I need to do is, at the moment what we're going to do is we're going to decide on the shape of this. So I think if we do it like that, we bring it up like that and do it like that, and then I'll sew it in my journal there like that. So actually that means I've got 2 pockets for later things. That might be for tags at a later date. I'll have another, I'm only going to decorate this front one, I think, and I'll have another back one to do. See, maybe I don't need all this stuff, but then I quite like the idea of it being, shall we put that way as if it's on a bookcase, and then we can put those over the top. Let's bring that up there. I can trim these down a bit if I want. And my pockets probably don't need to be that, probably that side, that kind of size. And what I'm actually going to do just now, because I'm going to use this for future things as well, what I'm going to do just now is I'm going to tack down this center just to keep that in place. So I always have in my champagne cork, I always have a needle ready threaded, so that if I need one in a rush because something's about to fall apart, I've got it. So let's just tie a knot on the end, and that's going to be big enough for a pocket, isn't it? Yeah. I'm going to put the books down here, and then I'm going to put the puff in here and Pond Life here. I love these little tadpoles. I love the dragonfly. I love it all. It's all just, I might take that down a wee bit further because we can afford to lose. This is obviously, these bits here are obviously the spines of the books. But I think what I'm going to do for the purpose of this is I'm going to cut them off. I haven't got, that's better. And it's not like I didn't need any of those colours because they're all there. All there. So, stop saying so, Kirsten. For those of you who aren't aware, this is what happens when you tear, of course, when it's a printed on pattern that you end up squitchling stuff. Squitchling? Is that a word? Do we think that's a word? I think that's a word. Anyway, enough of that prattling. For those of you who are unfamiliar with slow stitching, where have you been all your lives? It's not planned. This is more planned than I would normally do slow stitching, to tell you the truth. But it's about getting a bit of fabric and a bit of thread and a bit of scrap, not scrap, material, and just sewing it on and enjoying yourself. Sometimes you can sew it on to make a pattern, sometimes you can sew it on to not make a pattern. There's a bit up on the wall there. I'm just wondering whether, I don't know whether you can see that. I'm going to ignore the mess. I'm going to just move you and see if you can see that one up on the wall. Can you see that up on the wall over there? It's hiding at the moment. That's a bit of slow stitching. And you can see it's just various stitches. I could have got up, couldn't I? And brought it down to you, but You can see it's just various stitches that you do in a random way with various materials. There's a button on that. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do with this. For this colour one. For the purposes of this video, I wouldn't normally do this, but I suddenly thought as I started, there will be those of you who maybe are unfamiliar with slow stitching, and it might be worth just saying a few bits and pieces along the line. So I'm going to show you stages. This is my first stage done, and I wouldn't normally sew down a patch, you know, a bit of the fabric completely like this, but I think it's probably a good thing to do when you're starting, even if you only do a tacking stitch, just so it's in place. I don't necessarily sew the whole way around a fabric, because next time, the next piece, for example, when I put that piece on, sewing that piece is going to, so you're not going to see that stitching underneath there. I'm not going to tell you what any of the stitches are called, because if you know, you know, and if you don't know, I'm not going to confuse you with stitch names. Get your needle, stick it through and do what you feel happy about doing. Let's just have some fun crafting. So that's the first piece on, and I will come back and add things to that. But for now, I'm now just going to decide yet again, and just make sure before I do it which way round I'm going to do those. That way round, I think. So the next one to do, because this is going to go on top of the pond life, the next one actually to sew on it is pond life. So I'm going to sew pond life on next at that angle, and I'm going to use the same colour that I've just already put in, which was this one. I've just realised as I was threading up this again that somebody will want to know what this thread is. It's can you see that? It's sulky, not silky, but sulky, and it's 12 weight blendables by Cotton Perez Art 172. Another thing to say is that some people, see, I knew I'd cut that thread too long. This is what happens if you cut your thread too long, it will not. Some people will always need to loosen the knot before you can get it out. Some people will tuck in the raw edges when they're slow stitching. I don't, because for me slow stitching is not about tucking in edges. And then I'm going to sew round this let's cut that in half actually. Sew around this. So rather than sewing at the edge to hold it down, you're sewing further in. I just like the idea of having some blue around the edge of the leaf. Now, where's the frog? Because the frog's two-toned. There's the lily pad down there. Oops. Just stabbed the frog. I'm sure he didn't mind. He wouldn't have felt it. And if he's thinking what I think he's thinking towards that dragonfly, then he can stand for a bit of stabbing. If he's given, he can take. Miss out the bit where his arm is and take that to the end. There we go. I think that's all for now on there. And that's just, I've probably got enough to go around the puffiny one. So, Mr. Puffin, where are you going to go? There we go. That was annoying me that there was a big, the border around the title was uneven, and that probably is because I cut off the spiny bit. So let's see. I think we'll put that there because you can still tell that's Keats and Byron. And then we're in the right place to start this one at the top here. And I think what I'm going to do for this one is, oh, there we go. Let's do just little random stitches in the title. Let's have a slurp of coffee. My washing machine is just finished, and this is the problem with slow stitching. I really need to go and empty my washing machine, but we'll just do this bit first. I'll just do till I run out of thread. That's what it normally is, so let's just do till I run out of thread. And you can really see I'm going to take these stitches different ways. I'm just doing very random. You see they're not straight or anything. I'm doing very random stitches, and that's all part of it. Just having some fun with some thread and some material, which is a change from having some fun with some paper and some inks and some card and some, but it's all fun, crafting fun. Let's put one up here. Wool felt is a lot thicker and tougher than acrylic felt, and you need a really sharp needle to go through it. I'm not using the sharpest of needles, but that's my own fault for being lazy and using the needle that was there, that's probably been used to go through paper at some point. Right, can you see how that's just wee bits in there? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, because I need to hold this on. Oh, actually, I wasn't necessarily thinking of doing a button at this stage, but maybe I will. Let's put that back up there. So that's, and when I'm doing slow stitching this kind of button, sorry, I think I moved out the way again, I tend to do 3. There we go. Right, let's go down here, and we need to attach this. So I'm going to do a cross, I think, to attach that, and then I'm going to do another cross here, a slightly different angle and orientation. And then a third one here. Let's do that one there and make it a kind of stretched out cross like that. There we go. And then we need to do something up this end. I'm just going to do a wee stitch there, And then there we are, and that kind of looks like there's a wee bird flying in the sky. Right, I think it's time, now I've got that on, to change my thread. And I think I'm going to move on to this one. Of course, it depends where this one. Actually, I think I'm going to go and empty my dishwasher first, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back for a second time. I didn't press play, did some bits, realised I hadn't pressed play, stopped, did some more bits, still hadn't pressed play. Definitely I've pressed play this time. So let me just run through what I've done and where we've got to. I've put on this little fishy bead down the bottom here. I've done some stitching up here. This is how the French knot that I did underneath here, it was too long. This is how it should look, just little, for those of you who don't know, just little kind of, it gives some texture. So I did a kind of random French knots. We've done a bit of stitching here, a bit of stitching up here, a wee bit of stitching here. We've stitched the body of the dragonfly just to make that stand out a bit more. We've done this, I do this often with buttons. When I use buttons on slow stitching, I go over the buttons. Having done it, I wish I'd used the black button now and done that over that, but too late. Done a wee bit of stitching down here, but I feel, although I'd quite like something on the puffin, which I might come back and do, I feel like I've probably getting near finished, and I want to put this on, and I'll put this on by sewing it on with some black embroidery thread, floss, call it what you will. Oops, and I've managed to get that, oh dear. That's why I used 3 for all these bits, but I only want 2 for this bit, so that's why 3 wouldn't go through that needle probably, because it was like, you don't want 3, you're going to regret the fact you've got 3, so I'm going to help you out and refuse to go through the needle. And I've just heard the washing machine's just finished again. My washing machine plays a little tune when it's finished, and it's just finished again, so that tells you how long I've been. It's on the hour and 35 program, hour and 34 actually I think it is, so that tells you how long I've been slow stitching for. So you really don't want to be watching all that. Oh, and I've not stitched over that. Not going to be able to hold it down if you haven't stitched over it, so let's just put that through. There we go. And basically that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go along randomly stitching over this thread to hold it in place, and it will just do whatever it wants to do, and that's fine. And I might do some stitches making it go up, I might make some stitches making it go down, and even when I've got you right in front of me, I'm still getting you off. I might even do some stitches that do this. Crossover. Well, as I've previously said, but I don't know whether it's a bit of cutout or not, as I've previously said, it's about making something of interest and not necessarily, or in my case at all, planning what I'm doing, because I don't want to plan it. I want it to be, oh, that's a good idea. Oh, I never thought of doing that. I'll do that now. But then I'm one of these people who are quite happy to fly by the seat of my pants, and I know lots of other people aren't. So if you're somebody who likes to plan, by all means plan your slow stitching. But I'm somebody who doesn't. I like the freedom that it gives you, just going with the flow. That's where the joy of slow stitching comes to me, because if I mess up, then you just do something with the mess and keep on going. Don't think I really want it going over the, maybe round like that, something like that. Let's put it round that one. This now is reminding me a bit of a river. I never thought of that at the time, but with my pond and my sea, it's like now we've got a bit of a river going on, which is, let's put that underneath there. And where's it going to stop? Pop out there. Right, I've got this wee bead which I'd quite like. I think I'd quite like him there. That way round? Or do I want it down here? Oh, I maybe want it down here. Or do I want it up here? Or do I want more beads? See, there's nothing in this space at all, which makes me want to put something in that space. We've got we've got two of these. See, even numbers. Hate even numbers. I'm an even number phobic. Do I want to put that there? See, that's one. If I don't put there, that's one. But then I want another button. And these buttons are too big now. Oh, do we go back to this one? Okay. After much searching, and I do mean much searching, I eventually found one pale blue button that's the right shade. Oops. Oh dear. Oh, it's gone all the way over there. However, me being me, wasn't satisfied with that and thought, oh, I found one, I'll find something else and give myself some options. Only there were no options. So this is the button that's going on, which is the right colour. It's the right size. So I'm as happy with it as I'm going to be. Okay, and there's one more thing I want to do. I'm going to take this thread down the bottom, and I'll deal with this side when we get to that side, because eventually we will get to that side. Right, let's go over here. The first thing I want to do is, I think I'll see, I've come all the way over there now. I'm thinking that's where I should have stayed. Right, I'm going to sew up this first, and then we'll go back and do that. So how's that going to sit? I'm not going to sew the middle. That will come when I stitch it in the journal, which I'm not at a stage for doing yet, because I want to know how big to make my signature. Clearly, with 500 cards, it's going to take a while. It's going to be a big journal. I'm going to have to make more than one journal, but I haven't got enough yet that I want to put them in a journal. But I do have my journal cover, and once I get to the stage where I think I've got enough now for a journal, I'll make a journal. And then if we're still doing it, which I probably will, even if Cindy stops doing it, I'll probably still do it, because actually it's quite a nice wee discipline and a nice challenge. It really does get the brain thinking, because you're thinking, well, what can I make with these things, with this limited colour palette? I'm increasingly thinking sometimes the palette is too limited, because, for example, there's some pink, there's some purple, there's some white, there's a wee bit of kind of yellow coming through here, but we don't have those as options in the back. So I'm increasingly thinking that maybe I should just if I feel like it needs another colour, just give it another colour anyway. If it's a colour that's in the picture, It just hasn't been mentioned. Anyway, let's go back down again, giving this a bit more strength. And then when we get to the bottom, what I need to do, something I'm not very good at, but that's fine because this gives me a chance to practice, and maybe it will mean that I'll get better at it. I am increasingly thinking as I'm doing this that actually the next time we've got some kind of a grey that suits, I might do a slow stitch on the other side. So the front and the back are slow stitched, but the inside, because then that means the inside I can cover with another bit of material just to hide it all up, all this stitching on the back, whether it's another bit of felt or a bit of something else. And then it's just a pocket for a tag or something. Right, now what I want to do is I want to go back, sorry, I've done it again, back down there, and I've actually still got enough thread that I'm going to work it back along here, because actually that's the other thing, if I'm going to put a tag in here I really do want to, so maybe it's a case of well, we're not going to think about that just now, and then I want to come up through here, and in this wee bit I'm going to try and embroider freestyle a 6 and a 4. It is 64, isn't it? Yes. Well, the 4 is pretty straightforward. I can do a 4 freestyle. Let's take it up again though. Let's do it. Let's do it. Doop. Make it slightly bigger because it will be easier if it's slightly bigger when I do the 6. Let's take that there, take that all the way across, just past the post, and then go up to the top there again. See, that way then you're not having to do a tiny stitch, so it's a kind of lopsided cross with, there's 4, that was easy. 6, how can I make the 6? Because I'm going to have to start by doing a tiny circle, so let's just start by doing a tiny circle. It's doing a tiny circle, and now, right, okay, I'm going to have to do single stitches because the circle's going to be too tiny for me to do through 2 layers of cloth at the same time. Nope, nope, there we go. Oh, it's a bit, I thought it might end up a bit jaggedy. I just can't do small enough stitches with this thread, with this needle and this material, but that's all right. It is what it is. There's the 6. We just need one little last stitch there to finish that. Oh, that looks all right. That's not as bad as I thought it was. It was for a moment then. Actually, I'm okay with that. There we go. There's the 64. Let's just now, the only reason I'm doing, if I was doing this as a more general, just making general ephemera with these cards, not doing it as part of this challenge as it were, I wouldn't necessarily put the 64, but because it's all going to go in the same journal, I think it's quite nice to have the number to refer back. So there we go, number 64, and I've even got a bit of thread on that needle as well. Put it back away, can't believe that's still out, hasn't been put away yet. and that can go in there. The next time I'm looking for a bit, that needs to go away. That needs to go away. Those need to go away. That needs to go in the use it thread pile. And I'm just putting everything away now because this is done. And actually, let's just put that up because it's not meeting there. There we go. Number 64. And we've got the start of what will be a little pocket page, for want of a better thing to call it. But I quite like that actually. And I might do some more slow stitching as part of my colour cubing. It's a bit like when I got the inks out, going in and seeing a different medium with all the variety of colours you've got. I've not really got my watercolours out much either yet when we're doing them, and I've got hundreds of them. But that's enough chat for now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you again soon with something else. Who knows what that might be? It could be anything. Take care, and remember, keep crafting. Bye for now.